Last segment of the show, CM Punk comes out and makes a joke about hell freezing over and then mentions being a Blackhawks fan here in Nashville and calls Saturday a career highlight. I've changed. And he was taught that if you speak from the heart, you cannot lose. And he acknowledges that he's got 2 words to describe Saturday. And it sounds corny, but I don't care. I'm home. I'm home. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of CM Punk interviews and press conferences and lawsuit descriptions and anxiety and near death. It was really hard to listen to this and it feel genuine. And for whatever you want to say, CM Punk always sounds genuine. That what he is saying, you believe. This one was a stretch for me to hear him state. And I think even his fan base would have a hard time hearing him, whether he truly believes that or not. I thought it was really hard to hear this line and not semi-roll your eyes.
I felt exactly the same way. I felt like tonight was going to be a really difficult promo for Punk. You know, having to answer for all the promos he's cut against the WWE, not that far like in the past. So what angle was he going to take? You know, what angle does any celebrity take when they want to come out and they want to claim that they've changed? I didn't sense that much explanation here. You know, I didn't sense much attempt at trying to answer for some of the sort of hypocrisy. And maybe that they're waiting for the Seth Rollins program to really begin, because Rollins has kind of, you know, he's already called him a hypocrite. So you imagine he'd bring up a lot of those things and we'll see where Punk goes. But tonight, I almost felt like he was, maybe the intent that was thought from him was that he was going to call the WWE crowd. Man, once he starts saying universe, that's when we know like he's really changed. But I felt like he was attempting to say the WWE crowd was his home. And I don't think he hit that distinction enough. You know, like it's one thing to say I came back for all of you, which is what I think he was trying to say, but it really just kind of made it feel like he's been lying, or either now or throughout the past several years.
I mean, obviously, he's going to be a mega babyface upon return. I wouldn't suggest otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do get to a point where there's logical sense to turn this guy, like there is, to me, a lot of fertile ground for here is the story that we introduce on night 1. And it's Seth Rollins, who up to this point has been one of the major baby faces. And he's warning everybody about this guy. And slowly it's Punk that is exposed as this guy that can't be trusted. And he is the hypocrite. And then the big turn is, I left this place to destroy it, but then I realized that if I want to destroy this company, I have to do it inside of it. And that's what I'm here for. And Seth is the one that has been warning everybody all this time. And this could be a great, he has so much material as a heel in this company coming back, but that's impossible to play during the honeymoon that this is, and that they should play right now. They should absolutely do that. I'm just stating that if we're talking, this guy's still around in 18 months, even a year, there would come a time that, I mean, he could be a really excellent heel in this company that the audience would completely buy in that skin.
So, sir, I totally agree with everything you said. I also think the honeymoon phase is going to end perhaps a lot sooner than maybe even that, John, you know, and it's going to be dependent on, I think, the story that they want to tell, how certain crowds might perceive him. But if you and I are reacting like this to tonight's promo, I can imagine a lot of people feeling the same way, especially people who have, you know, stuck through him. Like, please go on and continue with the rest of the recap, because this was not the only lie we could tell that Phil Brooks was telling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm home. The I'm home promo. This is where I belong. You people never forgot me. And all of you are powerful. You never stopped chanting my name. The voiceless found their voice. I heard you. Dude, this was like the
Verbatim.
greatest hits. This was all taken from the return, from the first dance.
There's also bullshit there, because they did stop chanting his name.
That was the big part here, is that, yes, this ain't 2015 anymore. Like
Mhm.
these chants have moved on,
Yeah.
and they were not like at one time it had become a chant of protest. It wasn't just CM Punk, it was we are rejecting the product you are sending us. And CM Punk was the embodiment of us protesting you. And
Mhm.
that has evolved and moved on, and this audience moved on. So it did feel like a guy that was out of step with the audience that he is stating is all powerful, and that I've listened and I've been
It felt
I
like a
heard you.
guy reusing his old material from the first time he came back 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
it felt like he was playing the greatest hits from that return promo in
Yeah.
2021. Mentions how a wise man once told me that to get everything out of this place, I would have to leave and come back. And he hates to admit that the wise man was right. So potentially planting a seed there. Everybody back there is happy to see me and says how AJ is fabulous, sends her regards. Everyone welcome me back. Well, almost everyone, because some are afraid of the truth and what they don't understand. They're afraid that he set the bar too high, or that the brass ring is in my back pocket, that the most controversial man has walked in the front door, and their best efforts at being best in the world in this ring, on this microphone, even on commentary, going back to the pipe bomb promo,
Mhm.
is a lie and is false. The best in the world is back, standing in this ring, live and in living color in Nashville, and his name is CM Punk. And he then puts the mic off and just looks into the camera. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. And that's how the
Right.
show goes off the air. I mean, he had a very good delivery, as you would expect CM Punk to have here, and
He will never not have good delivery
he
in
will
his
always
lifetime.
have that. Yeah, the question will be, I'd be very curious from those that were in Nashville, like what the reaction was.
Yeah.
Number one, that this had probably been placed, this audience, they have been waiting to see this guy in this setting. So the expectations of what this guy will finally say. And then on top of that, you've waited 3 hours for this segment at
Mhm.
the end of it. Were they satisfied? Were they not? It's, they, for a first night, they put certain things in motion. It's obvious that the Seth direction is where they're going. And I'm really curious what the timing is going to be of like when they put this guy in the ring. It's a long wait until the Rumble to hold that off of. And I don't know if they'll wait that long to get, like, I don't know how many weeks of this
What's
you
the
can do.
rush? What's the rush though? Like
Remember what happened?
he doesn't even have to be on TV every single week.
Well, I think they're going to want him on TV, especially for this
Sure.
first while. Like they, I think, want to have a CM Punk presence. But like,
Sure.
remember last year, there was such a surge of interest and like movement for Bray Wyatt's return,
Hmm.
and they held off a long time, and it got repetitive over time. That it was like, when are we going to advance past this? Now, I'm not saying it's going to be apples to apples, but I think with Punk, like, this is an audience that is going to want to see like what is the next chapter, and where you're going, and how quick do you go to a Rollins deal? Like, do you have something in the like as an intermediary beforehand?
I can't see them giving away Punk's first match like on TV. I mean, listen, they can if they really wanted to. Yes, like you mentioned Raw, kind of like stakes are a bit higher for Raw doing well in the ratings right now as well. But I also don't necessarily see them doing it, and I think at least waiting until the Rumble for his first match seems a bit more likely to me. But CM Punk talking on the microphone, I think, is as big of a draw as like a match against somebody other than a Seth Rollins, in my opinion. If anything, I think seeing him in ring might kind of kill some of the mystique of it. Anyway, getting back to the promo, it was tonight, I think, a pretty safe, uncontroversial promo here. No, like sort of like counterfeit bucks style, like type of line, that you could read any
If
controversy
anyone was
into.
looking for cryptic remarks, there were none here.
None at all. None at all. And I
Other
think,
than like the wise man line, but that was like within WWE story.
yeah. And clearly, like, I'd like to read that maybe there's this is a man on his best behavior right now. Like there's, and I think maybe whatever, due to legal reasons, maybe, no attempt at any mention of AEW whatsoever as well. And it was perfectly fine, perfectly serviceable. The element that I found most interesting coming out of it was, I think, the how fake this sounded to me for a CM Punk promo. As we've kind of, already discussed, this to me did not feel genuine because it contained so much recycled material from that first dance promo, and did not answer enough for what exactly has changed about him. Again, I think he could have hit home a bit harder the idea that I chose to return to you, the audience. I still have my problems through my history with this company that I'm looking to address, but predominantly I am back for you. I've missed you. And I don't think he really said that enough. The I'm home feels icky, for anybody who's kind of like followed CM Punk for this whole time. And I think, listen, he's going to get great reactions throughout pretty much like any town that he's going to appear because he's a superstar. But the online discourse could be very different, and it doesn't matter what it is. WWE and CM Punk will benefit because no matter what direction the audience takes to him as, whether as a babyface or a heel, it's going to be good. You know what I mean, John? Like, depending on however the audience reacts, you can pivot any direction with CM Punk, and it's going to be a successful program. Might even be more successful with a negative reaction towards him.
Yeah, I think this all, like, if you are designing this around Punk coming in as this big baby face, I just think that at their core, this really did miss the essence of why CM Punk is this enduring figure, that no matter what controversy he goes through, there's such a heavy demand that there's an audience that are just, they live and breathe through this individual. And the last thing they want to hear is raw WWE CM Punk. That is just such an antithesis of the Punk character that even if he genuinely feels that way, I think on night one, I think you're costing yourself a little bit by showing your hand night one. And number two, like, even the line pretty much saying everyone in the back has welcomed me back, like, except for one guy. Like, you are supposed to be like the prodigal son that has come, like, you are the shoot Jey Uso, like, that has come here and that you have angered and damaged a lot. And there's a lot of story to be had there. Now, if all this plays out down the road, that you get there, and this is designed to be disingenuous, but I don't think that's the plan, the path of where they're going here. And like, Cody Rhodes can be Cody Rhodes. CM Punk should not be Cody Rhodes, the guy that is the perfect representative of the company. This is the guy that, like, found his differentiation by pointing out like the corporate image of the Miz, and that he was the antithesis of that. And this segment was CM Punk auditioning to be that guy.
Right. We don't know if that was the intent of this promo, like, this sort of reaction that you and I have to it. We don't know if that was the intent, but they can run with it, even if that's the result. Doesn't it, John? Like, doesn't that sound a lot more interesting to you? A CM Punk who comes out, thinks nothing is wrong, but is massively unaware of how everybody else feels about him. I mean, I think that's a really, like, a delusional CM Punk who thinks there's nothing wrong, but actually everything is wrong and nobody likes him. I think that's a lot more interesting. So
listen, they're thinking 10 moves ahead, and the idea of ripping lines from the first dance were designed to make you realize how hollow this sounds when, like, you are just recycling your last return. That was your love letter to the fan base. Why should this be any different?
I don't think I don't know if I give them that much credit to say that it's intentional.
I don't. But I think we're giving way too much credit.
But I'm saying they can pivot and actually pivot to something even more successful than what they planned. Because a heel CM Punk who, like, a sellout CM Punk, I think is so much more interesting.
Just want to let everyone know that you can always grab your news at postwrestling.com. Today, I did a lengthy historical piece, the saga of CM Punk. I think I can officially say that in my writing history, I have now written more about CM Punk than I ever did about Montreal from 1997. And that is not a small feat. Okay. I think this past year has just done me in when it comes to Punk. But you can read this whole historical look as I tried to put this return into context, the relevant questions, what we should be focused on, what are a lot of the key factors. But I know everyone, sometimes they don't want to be reading. Instead, if you want to listen to my wonderful voice accompanied by some by some clips for emphasis, you can go to postwrestlingcafe.com. This special audio commentary is up for all members of the Post Wrestling Cafe today. It's usually up for double and espresso members. So if you enjoy this one, consider jumping up to the double or espresso level, where I drop these audio updates multiple times per week. So you can check that out.
Really, really fantastic work. Again, it's almost like a little bit of a mini documentary here. You know, John has always written fantastic entries for the website. Now he's turning those into, you know, these fantastic little audio docs. John throws in little clips in there to give you full context. So great work today, John.